No!
Tombstone has betrayed you. For decades, this film, considered a symbol of the Wild West, has mercilessly cut out its most chilling and profound scenes, all to appease capitalism and create a safer version for the masses. For many, Tombstone is not just a cowboy movie, it is a memory. A dust-laden portrait where the harshness of the Wild West is reborn through unforgettable performances, iconic lines, and the interplay of honor and loyalty. This is a film that leaves viewers spellbound, with Doc Holliday's cold smile, Wyatt Earp's resolute gaze, and the scorching heat of the Arizona sun. Watching Tombstone feels like stepping into a world that is both cruel and beautiful, where honor and violence intertwine in every moment. But what if the Tombstone we know is only part of the story? Behind the gunfights and glamorous veneer lies another version, darker, deeper, that few have ever seen. The rawest and most truthful scenes were cut, not because they weren't good enough, but because they revealed a truth too unfiltered, too brutal about humanity and the world they inhabited. These forgotten fragments, from the tender embrace between Doc Holliday and Kate Elder, Billy Breckenridge's agonizing journey of revenge, to Mattie's collapse into the depths of opium addiction, unveil an entirely different perspective on the film. Let us uncover all these buried secrets in today's video. Tombstone is not just a cowboy movie filled with thrilling gunfights and dramatic horseback scenes. If you think that's all it has to offer, then you haven't fully understood this masterpiece. Behind the glamorous frames lie crazy behind-the-scenes stories, haunting details, and dark corners that were cut out. What you see on screen is only a small part of the full picture, a place where psychological depth, brutality, and true tragedy were hidden to create a safer version. Let's start with Val Kilmer, who took method acting to a whole new level. Playing the role of Doc Holliday, the legendary gunslinger nearing death from tuberculosis, Kilmer didn't just act, he lived as his character. The actor requested the crew to fill his sickbed with ice so that his body would genuinely tremble from the cold. The scenes where he lay on the bed didn't just depict the image of a dying man, but made the audience feel every faint breath, every pang of Doc Holliday's pain. This wasn't acting anymore. It was self-inflicted torment, all for the sake of achieving absolute authenticity. But Val Kilmer wasn't the only one who brought a dark depth to the story. Michael Biehn, who portrayed Johnny Ringo, revealed that his character wasn't just a typical cold-blooded villain. Johnny Ringo was crafted as a man trapped in his own pain, someone living on the edge of the abyss with a longing for death. Biehn described Ringo as a character with a self-destructive tendency, a kind of suicide by gunfight. This inner turmoil turned Johnny Ringo from a simple antagonist into a tragic, complex, and pitiful character. So why weren't these details fully explored in the film? The answer lies in the cuts that were made. The darkest, rawest scenes, such as Billy Breckenridge's painful journey of revenge or Mattie's terrifying decline into opium addiction, were completely removed to cater to a more digestible version. These fragments not only clarified the characters' motivations, but also added depth and meaning to the story. Yet instead of exposing these raw tragedies, the film chose to please the masses, leaving behind a work whose true essence had been distorted. Even the strange details that were overlooked are enough to make you question things. In a key scene, a modern American flag with 50 stars appears behind Wyatt Earp as he speaks. But in 1881, the United States only had 38 states, meaning that flag could not have existed at the time. This is not just a historical error, but a testament to Hollywood's creative freedom, where aesthetics are prioritized over accuracy. And if you think historical errors are the strangest part, then listen to the harsh conditions the cast had to endure. In the scenes filmed at the Birdcage Theatre, the temperature on set reached 134 degrees, is 56 degrees. Yet the actors still had to wear thick wool costumes from the Wild West era. Not only did they have to act in these heavy clothes, but they also had to make everything look natural despite the scorching heat. From Val Kilmer's extreme method acting, Johnny Ringo's inner depth, to bizarre historical mistakes and grueling filming conditions, Tombstone is truly a unique work. But what's most notable are the dark corners that were completely cut out, scenes that could have made the movie a more perfect masterpiece. Next, we will uncover these hidden secrets and show you a different Tombstone, one far deeper and more ruthless. If you think Tombstone showcased the very best it had to offer on screen, you've likely never heard about the deeply emotional, poignant, and, at times, haunting deleted scenes. These moments not only illuminated the complex relationships between characters, but also brought incredible depth to the story. Unfortunately, they were removed to maintain a pacing more suitable for the general audience. One of the most regrettable deleted scenes was the moment shared between Doc Holliday and Kate Elder in the upstairs room of the Mescal Hotel. In this scene, Val Kilmer holds Joanna Pecua in a moment of vulnerability and fragility. Doc's raspy whispers echo through the stillness of the room, reflecting off the faded wallpaper, creating a rare, melancholic atmosphere. This could have been one of the most moving scenes in the film, but it was ultimately cut to fit the runtime. What remains are only rumours from the crew and blurry clips that fans have desperately searched for online, like a forgotten legend. Joanna Pecua, the Polish actress, brought elegance and strength to Kate Elder. On set, she and Val Kilmer would rehearse their dialogues late into the night, refining every detail to create the most authentic portrayal of Doc and Kate's relationship. Yet, the audience only saw a fraction of this dynamic through their bitter farewell scene. The embrace upstairs, where emotions were laid bare, was entirely removed, leaving their relationship lacking depth on screen. Into the theatrical release of Tombstone, the scene where Wyatt Earp kills Curly Bill is portrayed briefly, lasting only a few seconds, with Wyatt standing firm amidst gunfire and swiftly taking down his enemy. However, the original version of this scene was far more detailed and intense, showcasing Wyatt's danger, ruthlessness, and determination. In the initial cut, this iconic gunfight was extended, with blood splattering as Curly Bill was shot at point-blank range. The camera focused on Wyatt's cold, unflinching gaze as he marched forward, undeterred by the torrent of bullets fired by Curly Bill's gang. Wyatt, striding through the gunfire like a grim reaper of the West, created an atmosphere that was far more tense, brutal, and haunting than what was shown in the theatrical version. However, due to the extreme level of violence, the studio was forced to trim this scene to avoid the film being rated NC-17, a classification that would have severely restricted its audience. Graphic shots of blood and close-ups of Curly Bill's death were cut to maintain a fast-paced narrative and avoid overwhelming mainstream viewers with excessive brutality. Nevertheless, the original version of this scene remains one of the film's most talked-about moments, highlighting Wyatt Earp's unyielding spirit, icy composure, and unwavering drive for revenge. Similarly, the funeral scene for Morgan Earp in the theatrical release was significantly toned down, reducing much of the emotional weight of the Earp family tragedy. In the official version, the scene is limited to Wyatt silently standing and watching his brother's coffin being carried away, his eyes filled with unspeakable grief. Yet, in the original cut, the scene was longer and layered with more emotional depth, exposing Wyatt's immense pain over the loss of his beloved brother. The original footage depicted Wyatt breaking down in tears, a rare and powerful moment in the film where the strong, stoic man allowed his emotions to overcome him. He approached his brother's body, pulling out a handkerchief to wipe blood from Morgan's lifeless form, his eyes filled with both sorrow and rage. Wyatt's anger reached its peak as he swore vengeance against those responsible for the tragedy, delivering a chilling line, "I'll make every one of them remember the name Earp before they die." This wasn't just a vow of revenge, but a defining moment in Wyatt's psychological transformation. From a man seeking peace to a symbol of relentless justice. Director Kevin Jarrah poured immense passion into crafting this scene, using lighting, music, and Kurt Russell's performance to create a harrowing and emotionally charged atmosphere. The somber background score, the dim candlelight, and Wyatt's devastated expression all vividly conveyed the character's profound loss and simmering fury. However, due to runtime constraints, the scene was significantly cut in the theatrical version, depriving audiences of experiencing the full emotional depth and tragic intensity of the Earp family's story. These omitted scenes, though absent from the final cut, stand as a testament to the filmmaker's dedication to creating a story that balanced raw action with profound emotional resonance. If retained, these moments would have added even greater depth to the characters and solidified Tombstone as an even more powerful and complete masterpiece. Another deleted scene involved the story of Billy Breckenridge, Johnny Bihn's assistant. Played by Jason Priestley, Billy's character had a complicated arc as his loyalties shifted and he became more hardened towards the end of the film. However, in the theatrical cut, this change led to no concrete resolution, leaving Billy's relationship with the Earps and Doc Holliday ambiguous. Yet another deleted scene could have tied everything together. In this scene, Billy confronts the man who killed his closest friend, Fabian. The moment where Billy resolves to seek revenge and deliver justice for Fabian's death not only showcased Billy's growth, but also honoured the deep friendship between the two. If this scene had been retained, it would have clarified Billy's change in loyalties and given his character a more complete arc. Beyond these, the 2002 Vista series release restored nearly 5 minutes of previously unseen footage, including valuable details that audiences had never been privy to. These scenes made the film feel more complete while highlighting the emotional depth and tragedy of the characters. The first of these restored scenes was about Mattie, Wyatt Earp's wife. This version clarified the severity of her opium addiction, a habit that not only destroyed Mattie herself, but also fractured her relationship with Wyatt. Mattie's tragedy, along with her bitter jealousy towards Josephine, the woman Wyatt loved, added a complex emotional layer to the story. Next was a striking monologue from Doc Holliday, in which he recites the poem Kubla Khan. This scene not only highlighted Doc's intellectual side, but also revealed the inner conflict of a man nearing death. A legendary gunslinger, yet also a deeply pessimistic philosopher, Doc Holliday understood the cost of life more than anyone else. Another significant scene explained the mysterious disappearance of Kate Elder. This scene shed light on why Kate no longer appeared later in the film and emphasized her independence and determination. Kate was not just Doc's lover, but also a woman with her own choices and motivations, making her character far more nuanced. Lastly, there was a short but emotional scene about the death of McMasters, a member of Wyatt Earp's posse. In the theatrical cut, McMaster's death was mentioned briefly in a single line of dialogue. However, this deleted scene depicted the moment McMasters was betrayed and fell into enemy hands. The tension and despair in this scene added weight to his sacrifice and underscored the dangers the Earp group faced. Beyond the deleted scenes, Tombstone also delivered a legendary line, "I'm your Huckleberry," spoken by Doc Holliday. Surprisingly, this line was not in the original script, but was improvised by Val Kilmer on set. The line not only became an iconic symbol of the film, but also one of the most memorable quotes in the history of Western cinema. Interestingly, Huckleberry isn't as simple as many think. In Old English, the term means the right person for the task, implying that Doc Holliday was the only one capable of facing Johnny Ringo. A line that is both cool, challenging, and full of meaning. These deleted scenes and the iconic line demonstrate that Tombstone is not just an ordinary Western movie, but a timeless masterpiece where every detail contains creativity, emotion, and astonishing depth. What was left behind wasn't excess, but the missing pieces needed to create a perfect work of art. But the story doesn't end there. behind the truths we've witnessed lies a darker side of Tombstone's production, where the cast faced numerous near-death experiences. Up next, I'll unveil these shocking behind-the-scenes secrets for you. Tombstone is not just a masterpiece of the Western genre on screen, but also a film filled with chaotic, dangerous, and unbelievably dark behind-the-scenes stories. Few people know that the film almost didn't make it to completion due to production troubles. Initially, Kevin Jara, the screenwriter and original director of the project, was fired just 1 month into production because he couldn't keep the schedule on track and due to internal conflicts within the crew. The project was on the brink of collapse, but Kurt Russell, who portrayed Wyatt Earp, stepped in to take charge. Not only did he take on the lead role, but he also quietly assumed the role of an unofficial director. Val Kilmer once revealed that Kurt Russell stayed up late every night meticulously planning each scene for the following day, ensuring everything ran smoothly. Although George P. Cosmatos was officially brought in as a replacement director, in reality, Russell was the one who truly controlled the entire project. Without his decisive intervention, it's very likely that Tombstone would never have become the cinematic legend it is today. However, the troubles didn't stop at production issues. The crew also faced life-threatening moments. In a tense gunfight scene between Doc Holliday, Val Kilmer, and Johnny Ringo, Michael Biehn, a real bullet accidentally discharged due to a technical error. Although no one was injured, the incident caused panic among the entire crew. At the time, Hollywood still used real guns loaded with blanks for action scenes, and the risk of accidents was ever present. This incident serves as a reminder that the Wild West depicted in Tombstone was not just a story on screen, but also a recreation of real-life danger. Alongside these frightening incidents, the historical figures portrayed in the film carried their own equally dark stories. Doc Holliday, depicted on screen as a charming, cynical, yet humorous gunslinger, was a far more cold-blooded and terrifying figure in real life. A professional gambler and heavy drinker with a serious addiction to drugs, Doc Holliday was infamous for his ruthless brutality. One story claims he once disemboweled a man simply because the man didn't follow his rules. Holliday wasn't just a Wild West legend, but also a symbol of the chaos and violence of that era. Similarly, William "Curly Bill" Brocius, the film's main antagonist, was far more notorious and brutal in real life than the somewhat softened version Hollywood presented. Curly Bill was said to have forced a group of people, including Mexicans, to strip naked and dance for his amusement during a party. Such inhumane actions not only highlight Curly Bill's cruelty, but also paint a realistic picture of the Wild West, a place where violence and oppression were daily occurrences. What Tombstone portrayed was only a fraction of the harsh, bloody reality of history. Beyond the dark stories, the behind the scenes of Tombstone also contained strange and symbolic details. After the film was completed, Kurt Russell gifted Val Kilmer a burial plot in Boot Hill Graveyard, the famous cemetery in Tombstone, Arizona, where many historical figures related to the story are buried. In return, Val Kilmer gifted Kurt Russell a piece of land with a view overlooking the same cemetery. These seemingly playful gifts held deeper meaning, serving as tributes to the characters they had brought to life. In the film, Doc Holliday symbolizes death, while Wyatt Earp represents life, and the two intersect in a world where the line between life and death is incredibly thin. It's also impossible not to mention Val Kilmer's extraordinary dedication to his role as Doc Holliday. To portray a man suffering from tuberculosis, he not only lay on ice-cold beds, but also spent months practicing his gun-drawing speed to ensure the gunfight scenes looked as realistic as possible. Kilmer even added a southern aristocratic accent to his character, a detail reflecting the true origins of the real-life Holliday. And, of course, no one can forget the legendary line, "I'm your huckleberry." Interestingly, this iconic line wasn't in the original script, but was ad-libbed by Val Kilmer on set. In Old English, huckleberry means the right person for the task, implying that Doc Holliday was the only one capable of facing Johnny Ringo. This wasn't just a confident challenge, but also carried a deeply sarcastic tone, a defining trait of Doc Holliday. From life-threatening moments to dark historical stories and symbolic behind-the-scenes details, Tombstone is not just a Western film, but a work containing profound and haunting layers of meaning. The stories behind the scenes only amplify the film's allure, cementing Tombstone as a timeless legend. And next in this video, we'll dive into the fascinating and unexpected secrets of Tombstone's final act, unveiling the hidden details that make the film's ending even more captivating. The snow scene at the end of the film, where Wyatt Earp and Josephine leave town to search for a new life, brings a sense of calm and release after a story filled with violence and tragedy. What's remarkable is that this snowfall wasn't created with CGI, but was entirely real. When the crew filmed this scene in Arizona, they unexpectedly encountered a heavy snowstorm. Instead of delaying production, the team decided to take advantage of this natural phenomenon, creating a setting that was authentic, poetic, and deeply emotional. At a time when CGI was not yet widely developed, using the real forces of nature brought an artistic and genuine quality to the film's conclusion. Beyond the stunning visuals, the music also played a crucial role in creating Tombstone's allure. Composer Bruce Broughton utilised an 85-piece symphony orchestra to record the score, which was unusual for Western films at the time. While many films in the genre often cut costs by relying on electronic music or simple recordings, Broughton crafted a grand soundtrack that honoured the spirit of classic Westerns while also emphasising the tragic emotions of the characters. Each note not only amplified the tension of the action scenes, but also vividly portrayed the pain and inner struggles of Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, and the others. Despite these incredible efforts, however, Tombstone did not receive a warm reception from critics when it premiered in 1993. Many criticised the film for its disjointed script and excessive focus on secondary characters. Yet thanks to its release on VHS and television, Tombstone gradually gained a new appreciation from audiences. Its memorable lines, authentically crafted characters, and lively Western atmosphere transformed the film into a timeless classic. From an underrated movie, Tombstone rose to become one of the defining icons of the Western genre. Another fascinating highlight is how Tombstone paid tribute to the classic Western films of the past. The crew invited over 10 supporting actors who had previously appeared in famous Westerns. Although they only played minor roles, their presence brought a special sense of nostalgia, making the film feel like more than just a modern production. It became a tribute to the golden age of Western cinema. Additionally, the props in the film were meticulously recreated based on 19th century originals. From the legendary Colt Peacemaker to various types of shotguns, every weapon was carefully designed to replicate the firearms of the 1880s. These props weren't just for show. The guns were fully functional and could fire real bullets, adding an extra layer of authenticity to the gunfight scenes. This attention to even the smallest details helped audiences better feel the chaos and brutality of the Wild West. The film's ending is also a story worth mentioning. Before settling on the final version, the crew considered 3 different endings. One version concluded with Wyatt Earp standing silently at the funerals of his friends, serving as a solemn reminder of the cost of violence. Another version ended with narration, evoking the feel of classic Western films. Ultimately, the team chose the snow scene, a gentle yet emotional ending. This decision turned out to be the perfect choice, as it closed the film with a rare sense of peace after the intense and tragic events that preceded it. All these elements, from the real snowfall, the grand orchestral score, the homage to classic Westerns, to the investment in historically accurate props, elevated Tombstone far beyond a typical Western movie to become a work of art crafted with passion. It is not just a story about the Wild West, but also a heartfelt tribute to the history of cinema and the people who helped build its legend. What do you think about these intriguing details? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to follow us to uncover more fascinating behind-the-scenes stories.